My client is talking too much. What should I do? Hi, I'm Louise Fouché from OTGrow, and here we discuss tools, tips, and techniques to make you a great group facilitator. So we're in the middle of our series on what should I do if my client talks too much? Most probably one of the most common questions that I'm asked during our training. And so there are different ways that you can go about, different techniques that you can apply depending on what exactly is happening. And that is to see that what is happening in terms of the talking, what is the talking a symptom of? So one of the more common ones is that people take a lot of airtime. And so they are either attention seeking or they're struggling to convey their message. And so they talk a lot and they over explain things. In part one, we spoke about when there's too much fluff around it and the message gets lost. And this one is often where there's too much detail and people kind of don't know when to stop. They keep repeating themselves in this message. So there's not so much fluff, but it just never seems to stop. Now, there are different ways that you can approach this. The first one is to ask the group if they'd like to give feedback to this person, remembering that one of our curative factors is interpersonal learning. In other words, this person often doesn't realize the impact that their talking and talking so much has on people in the group. And we know if they are talking so much inside the group, we know it is something they're doing outside the group. So this talking too much outside in the world creates often that people start to avoid them because it gets awkward or it gets long or the monologues. People don't want to engage in that person. It's just very time consuming and people start to withdraw from them. And that is true for family members. It's true for people that want to phone them to just find out something quickly. They'll avoid that person. It's true for colleagues at work. It's true possibly if they are in a profession with clients as well, who also try to avoid the person, sorry. So we want to bring this insight to the person because it's one of the things that is hampering their social participation, which we say we address in the interactive group model. So how do we go about doing that? How do we make sure that that person can learn from this experience, make the shifts so that when they return to the world out there, they are able to take the changes with them? So here we often have a case of, does anybody want to give feedback? If the group's cohesion is not strong enough, the group members are not going to feel confident to address this. And they'll say, no, everything is fine. And then to actually allow that space for the group to not give feedback. And then maybe a day or two later, the person will still talk too much to ask the group again, would you like to give feedback? And again, they might say no if the cohesion is not strong enough. But I promise you, at some stage when the cohesion is strong enough, the group members will give feedback and they'll say, yes, can you please stop talking? It's just too much. And now we can start having a conversation. What impact does that talking have on you? And that person can say, it shuts me down. I try to avoid you. Whenever you start talking, I just kind of just give up. I don't even listen anymore. And then we can go back to the person who talks too much and have them describe, how does it feel when you talk? What's happening inside your body? Sometimes they'll say, I start getting quite anxious. They often say, I can see the people are withdrawing and I'm trying to talk more to get them to engage. And so effectively, we are in a negative spiral. The more the person talks, the more people disengage. The more the people disengage, the more our speaker is wanting to engage them. So they are using a wrong skill, or they don't have the skill to make sure that the people remain engaged in their conversation. And then it is to say, all right, so how are we going to change this? So in one of our groups, which was really great, again, it was one of our community groups, and the group came up with, what about the Twitter rule? And so because you've only got limited things that you can say in Twitter, it became kind of a fun, helpful thing. And the group would say, remember the Twitter rule. And the person that spoke so much would go, oh, wait, yes, hang on. And they would rethink and sharpen their skill of how can I say what I want to say in just 3 sentences. And this also, again, gives immediate feedback from the group. The group is, oh, wow, you did it. Well done. Encouragement, applause, but also they're like, okay, now the conversation can continue. You've said things in 3 sentences. We can come in, we can agree, we can disagree. Now it's your turn again. Keep to your Twitter rule. And it's an encouraging, positive way that the person is enabled to build the skill of delivering their message in just 3 very concise sentences. And so, what might be quite awkward, or you might think, oh my goodness, how are we going to do this? Instead of you shutting the person down, have it as a learning experience and a way for them to sharpen their own skill so that when they go home, they are able to implement this new skill. There in their world, with colleagues and with friends and with family members, they have now got the skill to, with the Twitter rule, in 3 sentences, say what it is they want to say. And immediately there is a different feel to their interpersonal relationships. All right, so maybe have a look out in this coming week. How can you use feedback from the group to have the person, first of all, become more aware and have insight in how their talking too much affects other people, and then follow it up with a specific skill that they can start to practice and implement to be able to really say things succinctly. All right, and in the meantime, happy facilitation.